And we are back again for the fourth and final installment of our fall cleaning series. So, again, I'm Mindy Turner with the Curry County Cooperative Extension Service, your family and consumer science agent. And we have been talking about not just spring cleaning, but in the fall, what are some of the things that we need to think about for getting our homes ready and prepared for the holiday season, for the winter time, and what all of that needs to look like. And I tell y'all all the time, I'm not usually telling you things that you don't know or that you haven't heard before. But these are things that are good refreshers, good reminders of what we need to be doing to help and take care of our homes. So throughout the series, we've talked a little bit about cleaning in those general areas, the living room, the family room. What do we need to do to get set up and prepped? We talked about our kitchens and getting those ready and making sure we have what we need on hand. Those bedroom cozy spaces that we're going to spend more time in now because the nights are going to be longer and the days are going to be shorter. Today, we're going to look specifically at that outdoor piece. There are some tasks that it's important we do and take care of outdoors to be ready for what we need to do for the fall and the winter time. So, the leaves are starting to fall, the air's getting crisp. It's a perfect time to just kind of take our attention and go, hey, we need to take care of our outdoor fall cleaning. It's not just about tidying up, it's about making sure that all of our stuff is going to be handled and survive basically those winter months, and what we need to do for our home's exterior to make sure that we're comfortable in the interior. And this is going to help us make sure we don't have damage, that everything stays in good shape, and that we have a smooth transition into that fall and winter time before the snow drops on us, basically. So again, we have checklists of some of the things to consider, what we need to look at and think about. So we're going to talk about your gutters and your downspouts. We're going to look at your yard and your garden prep. We're going to talk about some of those tools and equipment that may be more specific to different seasons, and your roof and your exterior of your home. Again, things that we don't always think about until there's a problem. So hopefully these are things that can help us avoid a problem as we go on. And then we're going to talk a little more in depth about the things we need to think about in prepping our windows to move into the winter season. So your gutters and downspouts, this seems like a no-brainer, but remove leaves and debris to prevent ice dams and water damage when things come up, because if there's a bunch of stuff in there and then it freezes and everything overflows and it just kind of makes a mess. So again, this is one of those things I will tell you, consider safety. If you are not in the physical condition to get up and get into your gutters on your home, bring someone in to do that. Ask the grandkid, ask the neighbor, ask someone else to come and help you out, or there are services that will come and check all of these things for you. When we talk about your yard, your garden prep, some of the things on that checklist: rake up the leaves, trim any dead branches, because as it gets cold, if we do have some winter storms, we don't want those branches flying off and damaging things. And then store your outdoor furniture. If we're not going to be sitting and hanging out on the patio, it's nice if we have a place that we can put it away so it's not out in the elements during the winter and maybe even that later fall time. Drain the hoses, shut off your outdoor water faucets to prevent freezing, or at least cover them. You can buy all types of different covers. You can just wrap them, a towel and some duct tape, however you want to do that, but wrapping those so that they don't freeze and cause something to bust or not work in the future. Draining that hose and getting it put away can be a huge thing so that you can maintain and keep that hose from year to year. I know people always mention, hey, I got my hose out, I got ready to do something, and it's early spring and it's all kinds of messed up. Leaks have sprouted everywhere because it's been left out again in those elements, or it's frozen and thawed and frozen and thawed and things like that. So that goes right along with our tools and equipment. We want to store those summer tools, our lawnmower, if we have other garden tools, the weed eater, things like that, that we want to just put them away, not have them again out in the elements, whatever that space is. If you have a space in your garage, if you have a shed, if you don't have those things, then up next to the side of the house or where they can be as out of the weather as possible. And then start bringing your winter gear forward: shovels, if you have a snow blower, if you have ice melts, things that you need to use during the winter time, go ahead and pull that up so that it's there when you need it. Because most of the time when we need it right then. Don't have time to dig it out or to go back to the back of the garage and try to find it. So now's a great time to move those things forward. And then your roof. And we said, talk about your roof and your exterior. There's typo there. I'll have to get that fixed. Inspect your shingles and your siding for any kind of damage. You want to make sure that they didn't blow off at some point, that there's not broken shingles up there, that there's not cracks in your siding. When you have cracks in things, not only can the pests who are now going to be looking for a warm place to stay get in, but it can also affect your heating and cooling bills as well because you're not as well insulated inside your home. So you want to be sure that you think about those things, if whether you're stucco siding or some other type of siding on your home, even cracks within the bricks, within the grout, make sure that you find those things and get those things filled in before we move into winter. So then, as I mentioned, there's some specific things. We love windows. One of the things we were so excited about when we moved into our new offices was that everybody would have their own window. So to be able to look outside and see what's going on, to let the sunlight in and brighten up areas. But they can also be a drain on, again, on your heating. They can be, we've talked about, you need to close all of those fixtures that go on and with your windows need to be cleaned and taken care of. But the windows themselves have some innate things that we need to look for to be prepared for winter. So inspect it. Are there drafts coming in that window? Are there gaps around it somewhere? Run your hand along the window's edge, or you can use a lit candle to detect if that air is coming through. Watch and see if that flame moves. Check the corners, the frames, and where the sash meets the frame. So where that window is actually set in, to make sure there's not drafts where air is coming through there. Because a couple of things, if air can get through there, dirt can get through there. And those are things that we'll be dealing with all winter long. So if there are gaps, we want to seal those gaps. So weather stripping, if it's a movable part of the window, you can always use caulk to seal the cracks around the frames and the trim. Again, if this is something that is beyond what your capabilities are or you feel comfortable doing, there's a lot of services out there or friends and family that I'm sure would help you check this out. And then insulation film can be an extra draft protection as well if you want to put that on your windows. Wash the panes with some type of cleaner. Wipe down your sills, your tracks, your frames, remove the dirt, the dust, any debris. I know with the way the wind blows here, our tracks get full of everything. So even just wiping and vacuuming those out good can be a big help. Make sure your window is shutting tight like it's supposed to. If you have screens on your windows and hey, I'm not opening my windows anymore, I don't need to keep these screens, you either clean them, but then if you store them and put them away, however that works for you in your home. And then check the hardware, make sure the locks, the latches, if they have cranks, all of that functions and works like it's supposed to. Sometimes it's just that we've built up enough dirt in there that it doesn't want to give and do like we want it to. So check those out. If you need to lubricate those hinges and the tracks, silicone spray, if needed, can help with that. Make sure that everything opens, closes, and works like it's supposed to. Because the other piece about windows, y'all, is safety. So if you should have to exit your home for some reason and you cannot get to the door, this is your way out. So it's important to know that those windows will open if that's what has to happen. And of course, like I said, inspect it for damage, even in the glass. Make sure you don't have cracks or broken panes. If you do, you need to replace or repair those before winter. We had a lot of people get damage to their windows in some of these big storms we had in the springtime. So now's the time to follow up, make sure that everybody gets out there. I know you may be waiting on insurance payments or those kind of things, but it's going to get cold. We want to make sure that you have windows in place that will help you stay warm in your home. And then water damage, making sure that there's not rot, or especially if you have wooden frames, that those things are still in good shape and functioning appropriately. And then you can consider some thermal upgrades, again, to help just keep that warmth in. Heavier curtains, thermal drapes that kind of keep the heat in so that it's not all going out through your window, or storm windows if you have them, or consider, temporary inserts that you can get as well for the winter, especially if you've had issues in the past with your heating or with your windows. Those are some great things to consider as we move through the fall and into our winter time. Again, I'm Mindy Turner with the Curry County Cooperative Extension Service, your family and consumer science agent. This wraps up our series on fall cleaning, helping get ready, moving into that winter and holiday season. I hope that you feel a little more prepared. Happy fall.